World Cup in just a moment, but we begin today with Detroit Lions getting a pick six off a drop pass by Kadarius Toney and upsetting the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City last night, 21-20. Neither Travis Kelce nor Chris Jones played for the Chiefs. Kelce was hurt, and Jones remained unsigned. Wilbon, was this about the Lions being good or the Chiefs not having Kelce and Jones?
Both. And Tony, when you have a one-play game, one play makes all the difference. It can flip the game, can flip the result of the game. You know Travis Kelce can make one play, and you know Chris Jones can make one play. So anybody who doesn't understand that is too foolish to talk to. So we set that aside. This game was much more important to Detroit. The game means nothing to Kansas City. Not Jacksonville, I think, on the road next week. And so, you can get to a point where you lose a couple of games and go, wait a minute, this thing has moved out of control. We're not near that point for the Chiefs. But the Lions are the team that people like me who have followed the Lions, one step removed in Chicago all my life. And there are people like me who say, I don't believe in them. They've got to show me. And last night was a step in that direction for Coach Campbell and the Lions team, which Tony did. I mean, you go in there and win, even if they don't have Chris Jones and even if they don't have Travis Kelce. They had the MVP they played against, and they kept him in check. Now, Kansas City dropped a lot of balls. The receivers got to get better. But I thought that game meant everything to the Lions. It should, it did, and they handled their business.
Love to disagree, not going to disagree with a word of that. I know what you think about the Lions.
Yep.
You watched them watching the Bears all those years. You think they're losers and clowns because they have been losers and clowns for many, many years. I would point out that they closed the year last year 8-2, that Jared Goff last year was one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league, and that Dan Campbell, who appears to be crazy, may just be crazy like a fox. I agree with you that it was more important to Detroit probably than it was to Kansas City. Detroit had to show that it wasn't a fluke. Detroit opened the last two seasons, Mike, the first 8 games of last season, the first 8 games of the season before that, 16 games, they were 2-14. So psychologically, winning this game is an enormous boost for them. I am like you. I don't think this is the end of the Kansas City Chiefs.
No.
But I do think it might be the beginning of the Detroit Lions. I do.
Yeah, it would be an exciting thing. I'm less than excited considering that's my division, and I got another horse in that race. With a building team, Detroit's clearly ahead of the Bears, and everybody's picking them to win that division this year. But Kansas City, Tony, I will say this: the Chiefs can be stupid if they want, or they can get Chris Jones in there. You got all these defensive players now who make a lot more money than Chris Jones, who's a beast, who's their MVP on that side of the football. You got to have some defense. You just can't ask Patrick Mahomes to score 40 every week. Sign Chris Jones.
One small point to be made here.
Okay.
You take away that pick six, that's not on the defense.
No,
defense gave up 14, Mike.
That's right.
You give up 14, you win.
Yeah,
80% of the time you give up 14, you win. Right?
That's why you and I we're not throwing in the towel quite yet on the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's move to Team USA losing to Germany in the semis of the FIBA World Cup this morning. Team USA was down 12 in the second half, cut it to 1 in the final 2 minutes. They're set up. You think they're going to win? They lose by deuce. Germany had a 12-8 advantage on the offensive rebounds, recurring storyline there. Tone, how should we feel about American basketball being relegated to playing for the bronze rather than the gold?
Yeah, well, I think if you're on that team, you got to feel awful because the United States is not supposed to lose to Germany. Okay, in soccer, sure, but not in basketball. You don't lose to Germany. And then they played them twice in the last 3 weeks. In the first game, Germany was up by 16 in the second half, lost the game.
Yeah.
But in the second game, Germany won the game. So if you're Steve Kerr and you're looking forward to the Olympics, you have to take the realistic assessment that the team that's out there now was inadequate. And in the Olympics, it's going to be harder because Antetokounmpo is going to play, because Jokic is going to play, because Wembanyama is going to play. So you got to have a little bit more bulk and a little bit more size. I don't think you need LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Steph Curry. And I know you like Steph Curry on a team. I don't think you need it. But I think you need 3 guys. I think you need to have Booker.
Okay.
I think you need to have Tatum. And Mike, more important than them to me is you need to have Anthony Davis.
Ooh.
Because if you look at the top 10
Ooh.
rebounders in the NBA,
Yeah.
other than Anthony Davis, they're all foreign-born players.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is important.
I got another name for you. Given Anthony Davis's health and how many games can he play at this stage, Olympics, getting ready for the Olympic season, I don't know that that's reasonable. I love Anthony Davis. I don't know that's reasonable. Bam Adebayo is one, and Mobley is another. So there you get guys who are, I don't want to say stronger because that may not be, but it seems like they can play more games, and they rebound. And you're right, Tony, inadequate's a great word. I like you. I don't think that, KD and LeBron, they owe Team USA more. No, they don't. If they want to play, fine, if they want to. But Tony, I think Steph Curry, who I don't think has a gold medal in the Olympics, Steph Curry, it makes sense he might want to play, and Booker and Tatum. So there's some flex. You don't have to revamp the team. I like the core of the team. Let them stay out there together. LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Carmelo, they were on a team that lost. Therefore, there's a thing called a documentary, their Redeem Team, and a nickname. They lost. They were allowed to evolve and mature and get better and win. And these guys need to be out there with supplemental help. I agree with you, inadequate. But Tone, American basketball, this ain't 1992. The best players in the world are in the world, not necessarily in the United States.
I understand that.
And this is a reality that has to be
I don't
dealt with.
think the World Cup is a big deal. I think the Olympics are a big deal. I think you look at what you have and you say, how do we get better for the bigger deal, the Olympics? We move now to tennis. Last night you were 1 for 2 in people you were rooting for. Wilbon Coco Gauff won after a bizarre 50-minute delay because of a climate protest. After that match, Madison Keys lost in the middle of the night to Aryna Sabalenka after winning the first set 6-0 and being up in second set 5-3. Wilbon, what did you make of last night's results, and do you like Gauff's chances against Sabalenka?
And being up in the third set, I think 4-2. Tony, the Keys loss bothered me so much. I almost couldn't sleep. The Keys loss bothered me much more than Team USA losing in basketball. Because Madison Keys is somebody I root for, but the Illinois girl by birth. I root for her. And she's just irresistibly pleasant and charismatic in a different way from most tennis stars. And so she's leading this match, and I'm crazily screaming for her. And she's got Sabalenka. She bagels her. And then her serve and her backhand desert her at critical times in the second and third sets, and I just went nuts. I hated it. And Sabalenka's screaming at the box and throwing rackets, and Sabalenka's like, stop. Why do all these tennis players have to scream at their box? You just missed a shot by 15 feet, and you're screaming at the box? My God. Gauff will beat Sabalenka. It's her summer. It's her time. She will beat Sabalenka, period.
I was very confused with what happened last night. I was watching the first match. It got to 1-0 in the second. And then the women sat down, and I figured that's a changeover. But they kept sitting. 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. And then Mahova left the court. She just left the court, took all her rackets, left the court. And then there's a shot of her being attended to by a trainer working on her abdomen. I thought she was going to forfeit. I thought there was a medical issue. And then Gauff left the court. I didn't know what was going on. Now, you know when you watch, you're just sort of watching, you're not listening carefully. So I must have missed what Pam Shriver said about a climate protest. But Mike, it gets to 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
50,
you say to yourself,
minutes.
I'm out of here. I'm at the football at that point. I'm out.
Oh,
I can't watch this anymore. Thing. So that's what happened. Very briefly about Gauff. Sabalenka is going to be the number one woman in the world, and she's won the Aussie, and in all 4 majors, she's gotten at least to the semis. She has to be the favorite, but like you, I believe that it is the summer of a 19-year-old Coco Gauff, and I think she's going to win.
She's going to win.
Let's take a break. Coming up, what sort of challenges could Aaron Rodgers face with his new team? We're going to ask Peyton Manning.
We're also going to ask him how much of a difference Sean Payton's going to make with Russell Wilson in Denver. Sabalenka, she can miss a shot by 20 feet. She turns and starts screaming at some dope in the box. I mean, tennis.
You do this whole show screaming.
Okay, I get paid to scream. She gets paid to win. She won. She won.
He's in 2 Super Bowls and now co-hosts the Monday Night Football Manning cast with his brother Eli, our new best friend, Peyton Manning. Peyton, let us start with this. Chiefs receivers dropped several passes on Patrick Mahomes last night. This must have happened to you over the course of your career. What do you say to a receiver or do with a receiver when that happens, or do you say nothing?
No, I think you definitely say something, and I think there's kind of something to say during the game that is, positive. Look, you want those guys fighting for you. The last thing you want to do is embarrass them, berate them, where they just stopped running across the middle for you, right? So, but I think it's something you definitely address after the game. Are these guys practicing, right? A couple of those receivers missed some training camp. They weren't participating in practice. Practice matters, right? It makes a difference. With all apologies to Allen Iverson, I think you need to practice, especially as wide receivers. And so I see Patrick kind of getting with those guys today and next week saying, hey, let's get our extra throws in. I don't want to hear the fact that Travis Kelce didn't play. That's why we lost this game. If we catch the ball, we probably do win that game. So being sure we're doing the right things during the week, I think Patrick will address that.
Peyton, it's impossible not to look at Anthony Richardson starting for the Colts and not think back to your rookie season. Nobody plays great as a rookie. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger did, but it hardly ever happens. So what do the Colts need to do at the top of your priority list to support him and get whatever it is they can get out of him as soon as they can get it?
Yeah, thanks, Mike, for bringing up my rookie season. I really try not to think about it. 3 wins, 28 interceptions. Boy, great memories. It's funny you say that. About 20 minutes ago, I texted Anthony Richardson, said, good luck. He wrote back, any advice? And I said, play smart, not scared. Take what the defense gives you. No need to force anything. Completions, 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 and have fun out there. Easier said than done. But I do think what you said is exactly what the Colts need to do. Shane Steichen needs to help Anthony Richardson. We need to run the ball. Give him the plays that he is comfortable doing. Put him in the right situations where he's not having to make these throws that he's not.
New system, yet another new one. Is that a burden?
Learning a new system is a burden, and that's real. It's his third system in 3 years. Unlearning your old system is hard. At the same time, learning a new system. And Sean's system doesn't have a lot of carryover from the previous 2 that he's been in. But look, Sean Payton is going to coach him hard. Russell wants to be coached hard. There's
Denver. You've got the Bills and the Jets on Monday night, and I'm going to speak for Mike and myself. The thing you do with your brother is wonderful,
awesome.
And that's going to be awesome. A great game to actually do, the Bills and the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, late in his career, going to a new team.
As far as guests, but it should be a great game. Look, it's all about the Jets. It's funny, the Bills are flying under the radar. They've been one of the best teams in the league. Aaron, I can tell, is rejuvenated. He's having fun out there. Look, it's different for me. I really didn't want to leave the Indianapolis Colts. That was the team that drafted me. I was happy there. I got hurt, draft Andrew Luck, things happen. Aaron, was ready to move from Green Bay, and he's been clear about that. But I can't tell you the advantage he has of having a play caller that he's worked with in Green Bay. He knows the language. He knows the system. He will play fast out there. He won't be thinking a lot. He'll know the system better than anybody. That is a huge advantage. And I didn't have that right away in Denver. We sort of grew to that. Brady didn't have it right away when he went to Tampa. They finally figured out, maybe we should start calling the plays that Tom's been running for 20 years in New England. They figured it out and ran the Super Bowl. The Jets have it figured out. I see Aaron playing well Monday night and throughout the season, and that defense is going to help him a ton. So I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, okay? I'm just going to tell you right now.
Good, because this is the Jets' one highlight. Joe Namath, this, pointing the finger 100 years ago. Thank you, Peyton.
Thank
it's a
you,
great
Peyton.
pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
man.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
You can watch the Manning cast on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus during Monday Night Football. It's really good. I'm just adding that parenthetically. Let's take one last break. Still to come, Joe Burrow gets a huge new deal.
And what should we expect from Dion in Colorado against Matt Rule and Big Red, Nebraska, tomorrow? I know what I'm expecting.
It's interesting that Peyton talks about the rookie season. I mean, everybody thinks if you're a great quarterback, you're great from moment one.
Nobody.
It's not true.
Nobody.
At Domino.
Happy time, people. Happy 33rd birthday, Garrett Cole. When time for a pitcher. That was after the 2019 season. Since coming to the Yankees, Cole is 49-23 with a 3.17 ERA and 104 starts. This season, Cole is a leading Cy Young candidate. He's 13-4 with a 2.90 ERA in 29 starts. His 195 strikeouts are third in the American League, behind Kevin Gausman of Toronto and Pablo Lopez of the Twins. This would be Cole's first Cy. Cole's career record, 143-75. Career ERA, 3.20. He is a six-time All-Star.
Yeah, but he didn't win that World Series last year, did he? How great would they be if he was still with Houston? I mean, they're formidable and world champions already, but how much better would they be with Cole's numbers, those numbers in that lineup, still in that rotation? Just got to wonder.
That's right. But how much richer is he with the Yankees?
He'd be rich either way.
A not so happy anniversary to Dwayne Rudd.
Texas.
On this day 21 years ago, in one of the most bizarre endings ever to an NFL game, the Browns linebacker threw off his helmet to celebrate what he thought was a Cleveland win in Week 1 over Kansas City. Rudd believed he had sat Chiefs quarterback Trent Green to end the game, but Green had lateraled the ball to lineman John Tate, who ran it down to the Browns' 26-yard line. Rudd's unsportsmanlike penalty extended the game, and 42-year-old Morton Anderson kicked the winning 30-yard field goal for Kansas City. This is so Cleveland, isn't it? This is in the DNA.
Yeah, Tony, I was at a lot of that stuff too, the fumble and the drive. I was in Cleveland for those things. The Cubs beating Cleveland in Cleveland to win the World Series after 100-plus years. It is. And you know what? Cleveland is still a great place to go and watch sports. The most underrated big-time sports city in America is probably Cleveland.
Happy trails to last night's game for Ecuador. You think Lionel Messi is only a goal-scoring machine in the MLS? Think again. Messi got the only goal last night as Argentina beat Ecuador 1-0 to open their qualifying process for the 2026 World Cup. Messi scored on a left-to-right bending free kick in the 77th minute that the Ecuadorian goalie could only watch in dismay. Messi, who appears to score in every game for Inter Miami, actually has scored goals for Argentina in its last 8 games. Argentina, the defending World Cup champ, is now unbeaten in its last 22 World Cup qualifying games, dating back to 2017.
You know what's kind of amazing, Tony, is that Messi is so relevant. Even nearly a year after the World Cup, he's so relevant while Ronaldo is where? Now, Ronaldo's getting like 100 mil plus, so nobody's going to need to throw him a charity event. But I'm just saying, if you're talking about who's out there front of mind, wow, Messi's way out in front of Ronaldo.
I will say this. I love the pink jersey that Messi wears, but the Argentina jersey is the one I've seen for an awful lot of years. Miami on crutches after fouling the ball off his foot. Is that cause for concern?
Maybe not, because the x-rays are reportedly negative. You need Mookie Betts. You can coast. You can rest him. You can coast into the playoffs and get him right, because you need him. 11th ranked Texas at 3rd ranked Bama tomorrow night. What do you expect?
At Bama, I expect Bama to win. Last one, Nebraska at 22 Colorado tomorrow at noon. What do you expect?
More Dion, more Shador, and more Travis Hunter. How about that? That's what I expect.
How much more Travis Hunter? You already did
Maybe
100
not much.
plays. How much
Maybe
more
not
is it?
much more.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, knuckleheads. We are back on ESPN Monday. How about that? Enjoy football Sunday, week 1.